So here's what I'd love to do. I'd like to start out with maybe even breaking and tearing down the issues, this empowerment barrier. That's, I think, words that you used in our last conversation in contact centers and what that means and how do we do that?
Definitely. So this is how I perceive it. And again, when I say this is how I perceive it, it happens in majority of cases. I don't want to say 100%. Otherwise, we would not be able to compare, like, for example, a successful business to a non-successful business. But in so many cases, you find that the contact center or the customer service agent, manager, or director, they lack authority. However, they have the knowledge. So the contact center can see patterns, recurring issues. They maybe even know about competition because they keep on talking to customers every single day. And they can hear, like, you know what, but you have a shortfall here. Your competitors are doing so and so. For example, if they have multiple lines. So I have this line with you. However, my wife, my son, my daughter, they have this telephone number with another provider and they are doing so and so. So they have like lots and lots of knowledge and know-how and patterns, like I was saying before. However, they are not really empowered or authorized to rectify or make the change that they believe it's needed or it will help the business.
So it's interesting because they're not empowered. They don't have the authority. But one of the things that we know is in organizations, good ideas, innovative ideas, ideas that move the needle, that raises attention and it allows us to have a voice and a place, a seat at the table. And there's so many opportunities that come out of the contact center. In fact, I was reading a study by McKinsey, and they talked about how most companies don't have a good voice of the customer program. They're not in touch with the voice of the customer. One of the things they said was that a majority of great ideas and innovations come from the voice of the customer. That's the power we all have. So when you're talking about that they're not empowered, really we are. It's our opportunity to take a step in the right direction and take that information and make it incredibly useful for the organization. Why isn't that happening in your mind more today?
Well, I guess multiple reasons. So one is you have this hierarchy bottlenecks. For some reason, the contact center as a division or a department or unit, it's not as equal as other divisions within the hierarchy of the company. So for example, you can have finance, you can have accounting, you can have product, you can have tech. But usually the contact center or the customer service team, maybe it's because of the label, which is something I will come to later, because the contact center is labeled as a supporting function. But usually, whenever you have a contact center, when I say it's not empowered, it's usually covered with a layer of approvals. So, for example, just like you said, voice of the customer, we have the best ideas. We are in touch of we call it the customer pulse. So you technically know what does the customer need, what does the customer want, what's our weakness, where do we have the majority of our shortfalls. However, again, you need lots and lots of approvals, buy-ins from other divisions just to get your idea pushed through. And again, I don't want to say like the contact center division or department is the only department that goes through this, but let's say it's not as equal as other divisions. Other divisions can go way faster in the approval cycle compared to the contact center.